Alicia Whitford, welcome to 11X Talks.
Hi, Christine.
So you are the lucky first participant of our 11X Talks in this format. So welcome. And I am feeling inspired to sort of discuss some unique businesses that I see pop up, and yours was definitely one of those. So you are the founder of a business called Generational Photography, which piqued my interest, especially recently because I've had a few family occasions. So tell me a little bit about what inspired you to start Generational Photography.
There's two main reasons. The first main reason was losing my nan in COVID and trying to put a slideshow together. We didn't have many photos between both sides of the family. So that was one main thing, and a little bit of a legacy piece because I've got no more grandparents alive. So that's one reason. And two, my 20 years experience in childcare, seeing all the children grow up very, very fast, and the parents out there working and missing those important milestones that should be captured and look back on years to come. Yeah, no, it's something quite unique and something that my nan would be very proud of. Like, if she was
What was her
cooking.
name?
Dorothy.
Dorothy.
Yeah.
So Dorothy, she's doing a good thing.
Yeah, no, she did just
Yeah,
so much stuff like for the
yeah.
church. She did fates and she did cooking like for major events and stuff like that. So she
Oh,
was
God love
really
her.
into cooking and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
yeah.
So
Well, I'm
yeah,
very sorry that happened for you, but
yeah,
I'm sure she's very proud of what you're doing in her honor.
yeah, she would be.
And yeah, she sounds like an amazing person as well. Like the legacy of Dorothy and why you actually started
Mm.
this business. And it's a twofold thing because you've experienced your own grief and, potentially realizing what happens when people don't take those moments. Yeah. So I guess then, what is the focus of generational photography? Like, what does that sort of mean?
So what generational photography means is capturing those precious moments like milestone birthdays, spending time with grandparents and grandchildren, just really capturing something to remember them when they do eventually pass away.
That's brilliant. I've actually seen some examples in my feed relatively recently of like generations of families sitting together as well, and it is so important that we capture those moments.
Yeah, that is very, very vital.
So when it comes to doing a family shoot for you as generational photography, how does it sort of differ to normal photography? I've had a few different shoots myself, but how does this sort of look different to a normal photography session?
Yep, so generational photography is way different to other photographers in that we do include the grandparents, because most photographers just do the mum, dad, kids, whereas we include grandma and grandpa and aunts, uncles, and cousins. So we do the whole entire family.
And how do you actually manage that? I'll think of the photo sessions that I've actually had where I've had like little ones running around. How do you rein in the little ones and what potentially is going on with the chaos involved with them and trying to keep the attention of the elderly as well? Like, how does that work? How do you cope with that?
I just use my 20 years experience in childcare. Make it just fun. Make it a lot less posed. Have the kids running around, interacting, doing like little walking photos. Just fun, pretty much. Have breaks if we need to. Yeah, make sure the elderly are comfortable. Make sure they've got a nice, comfortable chair to sit in. It's a nice, cool day, so take photos in the shade. Make sure it's accessible. If I do it at a park, if they're not able to come to a park, I do go to homes as well. So those are just little snapshots of how to make it a little bit easier.
Yeah, I guess you need to make it accessible because
Yeah,
especially when we're talking about, it can happen to anyone, of course, at any age, but if people are somehow inhibited from mobility, to be able to go to the home is obviously a great thing.
yeah.
Yeah. So do you find that you have to travel very far? Like what sort of range do you have? What are your borders of operation, so to speak?
So my company is based in Glenwood, New South Wales. So within a 20K radius of that.
Well, that's actually pretty good. There'll be lots of families, especially in the hills area, right, that would
Yes,
take
that's right.
advantage of that. Awesome. And there's a lot of nice parks and outdoor spaces as well that you can take advantage of. What is one particular scene that you love working in?
I do find Narragansett Reserve at Doonside. That's got a fair few great options. Close second would be Fagan Park at Galston, I think it's called. And third option would be Bicentennial Park at Sydney Olympic Park. That's got some nice greenery and gardens and things like that to take photos in as well.
It certainly does. It certainly does. So what is the sort of process for someone that wants to use your services? So they just contact you. Is there any sort of framework that you work with in guiding your clients on what to expect, what to do leading up to it? What happens on the day?
Yep. So on the day, actually, I'll even start from booking.
Yeah.
So booking, they'll apply on the website. They'll fill out a questionnaire just to get to know them, know their family, know what they want from the session, anything I need to know, like any disabilities or mobility issues and things like that. Then we'll jump on a call and then we'll choose the right package for them based on what the questions have come and any extra questions we ask on the phone call. Then the photo session we booked in, and then the photo session day will happen.
Yeah. So do
But
you sort of help the clients with ideas on maybe what clothing to wear? Are there themed type of shoots that you do?
I do help with outfit choices.
Mhm.
I do say to go more like the earthy sort of tones, just to suit, especially if you're doing it at a park, so sort of blends it a little bit more, doesn't stand out so much. I do say to avoid logos and any floral patterns because they do tend to draw the eye no matter where you place that person wearing that. But they are general rules
Yeah.
unless your family are really into florals or, when I do a memory shoot and grandma and grandpa used to like wearing flannels or floral or something like that, we can get away with that. But that's just a generalized idea of outfit choice.
Excellent. So it is something to consider, I know, especially with some bright colors, and they can sort of come across on the camera a little bit weird. So if just imagining a shoot with people being comfortable and obviously wearing certain type of clothing or something that they are comfortable with. You mentioned their, grandma or grandpa wearing their favorite item of clothing. What sort of techniques do you use to make people feel comfortable on the day? Because a lot of people, especially older people, don't like being in front of a camera. So sort of how do you make them feel a little bit better about that?
Just get to know them, just, muck around, have a joke before the session, ask how their day is going, what they like about their grandchildren, start talking about their grandchildren and that, makes them, really, really comfortable. Just pose them in ways that they feel comfortable. If they want to stand, they can. If they want to sit, they sit. Yeah, just really talk to them and say like, okay, I'm going to do this pose. Are you comfortable? Okay, they say no. So then you go and like choose another pose. Like just really, really talking to them and just asking what they feel comfortable doing.
Exactly.
Um,
I think it makes a difference. It's a barrier to entry sometimes, for people to
mm,
go, oh, I don't want to be involved in a photo shoot because
yeah.
it's a big deal and they feel really sort of weird about being in front of a camera. But it sounds like you've got some great techniques to make people feel comfortable and more relaxed on the day. So tell me a little bit about, let's get into some of the feeling about what you actually do.
Mhm.
What are some of the feedback that you've had from some of your clients about the concept of generational photography?
They've just been shocked at what they've tears have just happened pretty much. They've opened the download link and they looked at the photos and like, oh, like they're glad that they did it because, they didn't realize the importance. They're like, oh yeah, we take photos on our phone. I'm like, well, hang on. How many have you printed and how many have you gone back and looked at? Whereas if you have a professional photo taken, you're actually going to print it out and display it somewhere on the wall or on the mantelpiece or wherever you want to display it. So it's got that little bit more of an emotional connection. And there have been a few families that they've said, we've had the photo shoot, we've looked at it, and then 2 weeks later, grandma or grandpa passed away. So they were very, very grateful that they actually did spend that time and get the photo shoot done.
For sure. I have had similar experience just recently myself with a loved one passing away. And from her early years, there were a lot of nice professional photos because that was the only way you could have photos done when you were a child in those times. And then later on, it very much disappeared. There was a lot of group photos, but really nothing that was worthy, we thought worthy of her memory and sort of putting together for her remembrance as well, like you said at the beginning. It's actually, I think, really important that gets captured, because it becomes a little bit frustrating for the people that are dealing with it after to, find something nice to remember people by. It's very important. I just love the concept of what you're doing. So
Yeah.
you spoke just then about people getting their photos and so on, but sort of what do you deliver? So after you've had the photo shoot, what happens next? So you go away and edit photos, but how do you provide those back to the family?
Yep. So at the moment, they will get a link through Dropbox, and that will be emailed to them, and then that's how they download their photos.
Okay, so
In the
it's up to
future,
them.
yeah, that's right. In the future, I will be offering prints and albums and things like that, but at the moment, I'm just doing it through Dropbox, and they download it themselves.
Yeah, it's relatively easy that way, providing the ultimate inflexibility as well, which is great.
Yeah,
And
that's right.
it's easy to deliver for them. Yeah, excellent. So what do you think is the future of generational photography for you?
Just to get out there and help as many families capture the memories before they regret it. Because we do tend to be absent-minded and think everyone will be around for ages. And I myself personally thought that with my grandparents, and oh yeah, they'll live forever. And here I am, no one alive anymore, no grandparents alive, and I just wish I'd done a few more because you know we did picnics and we got together fairly often, but we didn't take that many photos. So yeah, just basically helping the families, live without regret.
Yeah, and I think that is a key. It's the regret. That and
Yeah,
that word really nails it, doesn't it? It's the regret of not making the time. Life just gets
yeah,
in the way and all of those things. It's really important to just make the most of it because you can't get it back.
that's right, exactly.
Yeah. So I would probably also urge people to do it now. Like, do
Yeah,
not wait. Even if grandparents, you just never know what's going to happen to anybody. So don't wait until you think that it's the generation is old and you need to act on it. You can do it anytime, and in fact, you could probably do it in repeat customers where they come back and they do the shoot when the kids are toddlers, and then they do another one for each sort of milestone age group, and just keep rolling it on. That would be really good.
yes, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So who are you finding who's booking your services? Do you find that it's the middle generation doing it, or do you think that there's a push at the moment for the younger generation to sort of capture those moments? Who do you seem to be talking to?
Sort of around the 35 to 45-year-old age group. I tend they are a bit more emotionally connected, I guess. Having their own children themselves, I'm guessing it'd be another valid point there. But yeah, around the 35 to 45 age group.
What do you think is now the importance of professional photography versus those instant camera photos?
Yeah, the phone photos are great. They're quick, easy, small camera in your hand, things like that. But I'm finding the professional photos are better. They capture the emotion a little bit more because we do know how to capture emotion being a professional photographer. And then they're physical. You can hold it in your hand, you can touch it, you can take yourself back to that moment, the day, the sight, the sound, the smells, when that was taken, and that just really brings back the emotion and connecting more back with that person.
Yeah, that's actually really true. I've never thought about it that way, but come to think of it, when you're scrolling through your phone and you're seeing things like in that way, there isn't as much emotion attached to it. But what you've just described is exactly true. It's like the memory of the moment that goes with it. You are definitely more attached to it, to a real photo shoot. Yeah. I never really thought about that. So that's a really good point. So is there anything else that you think sets you apart in regard to the services that you provide compared to a lot of photographers that are out there?
I'd say two things. First being my niche, focusing on grandparents. And I'd say second is my childcare experience. So being able to connect with the children and make the session a whole lot more fun for them and a lot easier for the parents as well. So they're not stressing so much about their child behaving and want to be part of the photo shoot.
Yeah, I think that is a very good point, actually. It's a service that you provide. I have seen some pretty nightmare experiences happening, and I have felt sorry for everybody involved and people getting a bit frustrated. But it sounds like you have a unique ability to be able to connect with all the members of the family at all the levels. So that is just going to add to the joyful experience of the day. I think that's really nice.
Yeah, sure is.
So how far out in advance are people booking your services?
Around the 2, 3 month mark.
Okay.
That's probably about the time frame. I'm suggesting a little bit earlier, but they've probably got like a milestone that they're taking the photos for, and that's happening in 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
That's why they're doing it then. But yeah, around the 2 to 3 mark.
That's really good. I'm all for this. I feel very passionate about this business, and it really piqued my attention when I saw it. I think that you have really caught the essence of what capturing moments on camera is all about with those. Yeah, I think it's a very, very important and worthwhile service. So if someone wanted to work with you, what would they do?
You can work with me by going on the website www.generationalphotography.com.au, and up the top right hand corner is the Apply Now button. That's where you'll be able to fill out your pre-questionnaire shoot and then book in a time to talk with me to booking your photo session.
Excellent. So I do hope that a lot of people jump on board this worthwhile service. For someone that has experienced a great deal of loss in my lifetime, you don't get the time back. It's really important. I'm even getting a little bit emotional just thinking about it, but yeah, it is. You should just do it. Like I hope that people pick up the great service that you provide and do something now before you regret it, for sure.
That's right.
So thank you very much, Alicia, for joining us today. And we hope to see your booking out sign up there really soon. And we'll talk to you again soon.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.